Happy Sunday, Sunday afternoon, August 11th. Welcome to another episode of Deb's Artsy Life. There's a lot I want to talk to you about, and I was sitting here talking and filming and realized that it wasn't even recording, so we're going to try again. First, I want to show you my new hooks that I purchased, and they are now, I think, my favorite hooks, and they are the dots hooks from We Crochet. I've seen these on several people's channels, and that's how I found out about them. And I'd heard somebody say that they were longer than the Clover Amour. These are, up until I got these were my favorite hooks. And pretty much all I use is Clover Amour. Here's the 6mm in the Clover. And let me show you the 6mm in the dots. Do you see the difference in the size? They're about an inch longer, and you would not believe the difference that makes. I hold my crochet hook like a knife, so when I do that, it hits me right about there, and I've noticed a lot of hand pain, especially in this joint of my finger, and it's just irritating. It's just, you know, it just feels like it's not long enough. This fits perfectly in my hand, and it doesn't rub up against me there, and I have had no pain. So these are my new favorite hooks. They were on sale, 30% off, WeCrochet.com, and I do wish that we could buy them individually. These only come in a set, and there's some of these like this 2mm that I'm sure I'll never use. But you know, hey, if I have yarn that's that thin, I'll have a hook for it. I'm trying to fix my hair. It seems to want to be sticking up back there. Anyway, so my new favorite hook. This is the 5.5mm, and it just fits so perfectly in my hand. And I want to show you what I'm working on. I started this last Sunday, I think, or it might have been Saturday. This is a 12-point star blanket, and I was inspired by Feathered Stitches on Instagram. She does a lot of these blankets, and again, it's Feathered Stitches, and she's on Instagram. But this is Premier Vivid in the primary colorway, and then I love this yarn in the royal blue and the yellow, and I just love how this looks and how that yellow pops like the sunshine against that blue. I'm really loving this, and the tutorial is by Ophelia Talks on YouTube, the 12-point star blanket. So I'm really, really enjoying this. I have lately, especially yesterday, concentrated more on painting and getting ready for the Fall Into Art Festival. I have just happened upon this, what do you call it, subject matter and style, and it's just flowing. The work is just flowing, and I haven't had that feeling in a long time. So yesterday I pretty much painted and sketched and prepared drawings all day long. I've got about 4 drawings outside on the drawing table that are ready to be colored. What I do is I sketch it out and ink it with a water brush, and then add the color to it with mixed media. And if you want to see those works, please follow me, or just check out my Instagram page at Deb's Artsy Life. Just like YouTube, it's Deb's Artsy Life on Instagram, and I've posted all those paintings on Instagram. What I'd like to do is maybe when I get to 500 subscribers and meet the criteria, I think it's 3,000 watch hours, then I would like to offer tutorials and talk more about my painting. Maybe even do a Patreon page. I don't know. That's just a little dream I have. But, you know, I don't want to ask this, but I'm going to anyway. I've heard people say, you know, just let my videos play in the background. And I would love it if you would do that. If you know, you don't have to watch every second, but just let my videos run and play so that I can get those watch hours and maybe offer some memberships and some different things for the channel. You know, maybe some tutorials or something. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm very goal oriented. So I'm almost to 500 subscribers. But one thing I wanted to share with you is this failed project. Knitting, again, is so frustrating to me. But I cannot stop doing it because I've purchased all these knitting needles in all these different sizes. Some quite, not really expensive, but way more expensive than a crochet hook. And I don't know, there's just something about the fabric of knitted, you know, like garter stitch. I just love it. But what happened was, this is the Karen Colorama Halo that I was working with, and I was knitting a triangle shawl. And I had gotten about halfway through it, about halfway through this ball, and I noticed there was a hole in it last weekend. A big hole about 4 rows back. And it just, and I didn't feel good, which I should have left it alone. But I tried to fix the hole. I tried to frog back and reinsert the needle into the work, and that just made a bigger mess. So I had to frog the whole thing. And looking back, I wish so bad that I had just left the hole, kept going, and you know, at the end I could have sewn a little applique on it. I could have done numerous things to correct that hole and not frogged that whole project because I'd spent so many hours on it. It was very, very disappointing to me. And so what I did was I started crocheting just a granny square with this yarn, but the feel of the granny square is nothing like that knitted fabric that was so squishy, that garter stitch knitted fabric. So I think today I'm going to frog this back and start the project again. And if I make a mistake, I'm not going to try to fix it unless it's very close. I think this yarn, the fuzziness of it makes it more difficult to do those increases. You increase on each side of that pattern that I was using for the triangle shawl. But I'm just not satisfied with a granny square. To me, granny squares are all about color. And I don't want to do just a solid granny square with variegated yarn. I mean, that's just not of interest to me. I want to design and use different colors when I'm doing a granny square. So I think I'm going to frog it, and I'm going to start the project all over, even though I spent hours on it. And then this is, you know, my knitted project that it's the same pattern in a different yarn. It's the Red Heart Bitty Stripes, and I love this. And I've actually been kind of afraid to work on it because of what happened with this other project with the Karen Colorama Halo. Because when you make a mistake in knitting, I mean, this has taken days and days and days. I couldn't tell you how many hours this took. But it's so enjoyable, and the fabric is so soft and squishy and stretchy. It just does not compare to, I mean, I love crochet, I do, but I don't want to give up on my knitting. I've got to persevere. I've only been doing it for a year, so I'm hoping that maybe, you know, if you think about how far I've come instead of how far I've got to go, then it's not, you know, it's doable. But I cleaned out my yarn, my whip pile over here, and organized it last weekend and straightened it up, and that made me feel a lot better. I got rid of the projects that, you know, were just cluttering up the space. I'm really bad to find a project or a stitch pattern in knitting or something and want to start something new, and I made myself not do that this week, and I'm so glad, because I want to finish these things. But I think today I'm going to work on this. I'm going to read. I'm probably going to frog this and restart it. The day's getting gone much faster than I want it to. But do try out these dots hooks if you're so inclined, especially if you hold your hook in a knife, like a knife. And tell me if you would be interested in more artwork, seeing more, you know, of my art supplies, of my painting process, and then let me know too if you're more interested in the crochet and knitting. But I'm trying real hard to prepare for this Fall Into Art Festival in October, and I'm getting really excited about it because I'm producing this artwork that's just, like I said, flowing, and it's just so enjoyable and exciting. So please do go to Instagram, Deb's Artsy Life, and check out that art. And let me see if there's anything else. This is one of my whips, and this is going to be a sweater for me, and this is out of the Bitty Stripes. I've shown it to you before. It's just double crochet, and it's very enjoyable. I love this yarn, love it. So I haven't worked on that much, but it's in my whip basket. I've got a big longer burger basket with all my projects in it over here, and I just pick whichever one I'm wanting to work on that day. This is another thing I'm doing with the Premier Basics yarn. I thought this looked like fall, like a sunflower motif, and so I want to do a bag out of this. So every night when I'm in the mood to do this, I'll make a granny square. So I need 5 in order to make that bag, or I could, you know, maybe make a different design this time, but I really like this, and so that's one thing I'm working on. And then I've got some cotton that I'm still working through, but I'm just not crazy about cotton yarn. I want to be, but I'm not. Now I've made some more of these. I really like doing these mitered squares. I've got quite a few of them. This is the latest one, and I'm almost finished. I just have the corner to complete. So it just depends on what I'm in the mood for. And then I've got this baby blanket for my smallest grandson that was born the end of June. I still haven't finished it, but I'm not hurrying because of the fact that it's going to be a while before it's cold enough to wrap up in it. He's a hot-natured baby, so he's not going to need a baby blanket for some few months. So anyway, let me know what you're working on. And I know this is a short video. I felt like it should be longer. I had a whole lot to talk about, but oh well. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Have a great Sunday, and I will see you next time.